I love doing these voice line interaction videos whenever a new character comes out. This is something I do every time a new character comes out, or at least I try to. I think I've successfully done it with every character. Sometimes I'm a little late to it, but in general, I try to put these out as quickly as possible. This time, I'm actually putting it out before Hellboy is released in most parts of the world. Obviously, he's released in my area, or else it would be impossible for me to do this video. Stick around to the end because the final voice line interaction is amazing. It actually might be my favorite voice line interaction in the entirety of the game. Hellboy came in clutch with some awesome interactions, so this video should not disappoint. Starting off with Green Lantern.
Why you wear that ring?
To protect everything in this sector.
And how's that working out for you?
I thought this was a pretty cool one because it kind of gets to Hellboy's character. If you pay attention to the entirety of the interaction, it seems as though Hellboy is dissatisfied with Green Lantern's service. He feels like Green Lantern isn't putting in enough effort. He's not protecting this sector. He's not doing his job. And Hellboy just doesn't seem too optimistic about it. And again, I think that speaks to his character a lot. He's not an optimist. In fact, he's fairly quite hopeless. Not hopeless in the sense that he is bad at anything he does, but hopeless in the sense that he truly has no hope. Hellboy has some amazing interaction with monster-looking characters, people like Atrocitus, Grodd, Brainiac, and this next one is an example of that.
Finally, a giant monster to fight.
Be silent, boy.
The name's Hellboy, dumbass.
I like that really nice, quick, verbal backlash, very rude. This is one of the reasons I was so excited about Hellboy, seeing him interact in ways like this. I think his Clash quotes deserve a little bit of a shout out as well for being quite aggressive and quite rude. Which is, of course, what you want Hellboy to be. Moving on to Barry Allen. He manages to make his way into these lists fairly frequently, and I mean, for good reason. There's a reason why he shows up so much. It's not because I have a Barry Allen bias, although it's very possible I do. It's just Barry Allen's personality lends itself to being able to interact with new characters very well. And this next interaction is, of course, a good example of that.
Gotta say, love the tale.
Thanks, pal.
Just stating the facts.
Such a cool interaction. It gives you a little bit of insight into how the two think about each other. Barry Allen, of course, very intrigued with Hellboy. And this next interaction is also with Barry Allen, but it kind of goes in the other direction. Hellboy's intrigued with him.
So, you're the fastest person alive.
Yeah, it's kind of my thing.
This just got a whole lot more interesting.
Again, I like this one because of how interested Hellboy is in what Barry Allen can do. Obviously, there's no one like Barry Allen in the world that Hellboy normally exists in, so it gives you a little bit of that reaction, him reacting to all these superheroes around him that he wouldn't normally interact with in his world. Moving on to another speedster, not Barry Allen, Jay Garrick.
You ever meet the Lobster?
Ah, someone who knows his history.
History? Fought alongside the guy's ghost.
This is a nice little reference. It's actually a character I didn't know. I had to look him up. The Lobster. He is a part of the Hellboy universe. If you're interested in knowing more about that character, you can Google him. I like voice lines like this because it teaches people more about the character if they're not familiar with it. Like I said, I wasn't familiar with the Lobster, so I had to Google him, and now I learned a little more about Hellboy, which is an end result positive because I like this character and I want to know more. So I'm glad that NetherRealm threw in this particular interaction, teaching me a little more about Hellboy. And I'm sure it was awesome for people who already knew the character. This next voice line interaction is with Black Manta Hellboy, throwing down some shade. Let's get into it.
Come on, that helmet's ridiculous.
You'll take my optic blast seriously.
Now we're cooking with gas.
I love this interaction because it shows you so much about Hellboy. At the start of this, he was willing to joke around, make fun of Black Manta's helmet, but then as soon as Black Manta threw out the very swift threat, letting him know, hey, I'm no pushover over here, Hellboy immediately started taking it seriously. He's like, oh, okay, we're cooking with gas now. All right, maybe I should, pay a little more attention. Definitely a very cool interaction. Speaking of cool interactions, let's move on to an interaction with your boy, Sub-Zero.
Wish you were more of a monster.
I am stronger than you realize.
What a load of crap.
I like this interaction because it's kind of the opposite of what we just talked about with Black Manta, right? Originally, he was joking around. Sub-Zero tried to throw out the swift threat and say, hey, look, I'm more intimidating than you realize. I'm much more powerful than you realize. And then Hellboy wasn't having any of it this time around. He was like, no, I learned from that Black Manta guy. He was nowhere near as threatening as he wanted me to believe he was. So I'm just going to assume that you're just as trash. I'm just going to roll through you because I'm freaking Hellboy. This next interaction is with, wait for it, the person who brought him to this universe, Brainiac.
Can't figure me out, can you?
Your mind is human, yet not.
All you gotta know is I'm kicking your ass.
This interaction's cool because Brainiac shows you that he actually doesn't know much about Hellboy. He's like, what, are you human? I don't know. And I like how much pride, or not necessarily pride, but joy Hellboy seems to be getting out of the fact that Brainiac has no clue who he is, or what he is. I mean, when Brainiac doesn't know something, there's something weird going on. And in this case, the weird thing is that Hellboy is just such a unique thing, especially in the DC world. Earlier on in this video, I said that Hellboy has some really cool interactions with monster-like figures. I used the example of Atrocitus, and now I'm going to use the example of Grodd.
You give humans too much credit.
That's crap, and you know it.
Time to put you down.
Such a cool interaction. These two monsters, Hellboy and Gorilla Grodd, mashing it out with their egos. Very aggressive interaction. And it sounds like Hellboy kind of came out on top on that. If I don't know, I might be a little bit biased. Who do you think would even win a fight between these two? These guys are crazy. Big monsters, big brawlers. I think Hellboy. Calm down, DC fans. I know, it's a DC character. It's okay. But I think Hellboy's got this one. Moving on to a light-hearted interaction with Starfire.
Are we really doing this?
After I win, you want to get pizza?
Best offer I've had all day.
I wanted to throw this one in because I feel like a lot of people overlook the comedic lines and the kind of funny lines because they kind of just leap out into the more serious lines like all the other lines in this video. But I think we shouldn't overlook this one. I think this one's pretty funny and it shows you a little bit of Hellboy's more casual side. And finally, my absolute favorite interaction in the game right now for Hellboy, and maybe even my favorite interaction in the game period. I don't want to say that though because there's a lot of really good interactions in the game, specifically also with Green Arrow and Joker have an amazing interaction which I don't think will ever get beaten. What am I saying? Just take a listen and let me know what you think.
You don't know anything about fear.
What makes you say that?
If you did, you wouldn't be here.
Oh my god, he's just so savage. He just destroyed him. Absolutely destroyed. You think you know something about fear? You're standing across from me and you ain't scared. You don't know nothing. Oh my god, such a cool interaction. Hellboy really is taking the flag of interactions and running with it this time around. The other DLC characters don't seem to have anything on him, and that's because, I mean, Hellboy, man. The only character I can see really topping these voice line interactions is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we're quite a while's way out from that, so I think Hellboy's gonna hold that crown for a while. I don't know, maybe you guys don't like these interactions. I'm in love with them. I think they're really good. Let me know what you think of these interactions in the comments down below. My name has been BILBZY, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Oh no, I've got another video coming out today, I think. No? Maybe. I don't know. If the multiverse video is out, then no, I don't have another video coming out today. If it's not, it's coming real soon. Regardless, I'll see you at some point in the future. My name has been BILBZY. Goodbye.